The reason for this teaching and this progress is very simple. We are opening the doors for this animal and the man in this jungle of the earth to learn the works and the ways of the universe.
Hello?
Ah, we have a knowledge seeker at the other end there, I think.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear pretty
Yes,
good.
can.
Can you hear us?
Okay. What is my name?
Jorge.
We have to start out with that.
Don't worry about him. He worked very late last
Jorge.
night. He got too
Jorge.
excited. He doesn't even remember his name.
Can I try Jorge? Close enough?
Can you please? Just 1 second.
Morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning. We're just about 5 minutes behind. Just give us 5 minutes and we'll be with you, okay?
Thank you very much for letting us
Thank you very much. Just 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I think they've been running in the park or something.
Yeah, well, they must have a bunch of stairs to go up or something there. Keshe seemed out of breath, but he totally
We did
stressed.
all of it. We ran across the park. We went up the stairs. You're right about everything. The reason we are out of breath is because...
You have a bunch of Belgium officers chasing behind you, maybe?
No, that is for Tuesday.
Okay.
Let them have the rest. Let them
That's
watch
why
and
you're
play in
doing
the wrong direction.
That's why you're practicing now. I get it.
Busy schedule.
No, let me tell you what happened. Well, you don't usually start this, but last night I let Armin, when he arrives, when he wakes up, as usually he's 1 hour behind, and what do you call it? Others, Marek and Marco and Jorge and Yvonne and I, in different lateness, we were in the lab. And I went for a rest and I came back and they were still there and they wanted to see, do they have to stay longer at 11 o'clock at night? I said, no, go home, we start tomorrow again. What happened is that we are testing the reactors for spacelift. And what we have started is the first reactor from John failed through leakage. So we need at least minimum of 4 reactors to achieve lift. The small reactor, which Armin and Marek are working on, and they've done it together. We put this reactor into vacuum last night, and we started the first phase of washing with hydrogen. But instead of the washing as we loaded, I thought we'll carry on and see if it is, and then we can always empty it later on. And then we started the second reactor, which is the uranium gravitational system. And in this process, we add around about 4 centimeter gas at 1 bar of a 6 millimeter tube, which is 4 meter diameter inside. We measured, everybody has the same standard, so when we load, all the 7 tables carry the same measurement. And then we release this 4 centimeter of gas into, I think it is 5 meter or 6 meter of tubing to expand it. Then we take the pressure off it. I have to say all 7 systems platform is exactly a replicate of each other. So if one of the knowledge seekers is not here, the others can carry on with the same work. So we don't make mistakes between each other's system, who's doing what. So then we open the chamber to the core. because it's got another valve at that point of the at the core, and we release the expanded gas into the chamber. The position with Marak and with Arman's reactor, Marak is here, they'll explain because they went through the experience, even though it was the first time they were going through it. But even me, a seasoned, what do you call it, I call lifter of these systems, it was still excitement to me to see such a plasma condition so early in the system, even in testing. The reactors Arman and Marak are using is a brainchild of mine, which I literally managed to get the Iranians to build it for me when I was in Tehran, and it's a copy of the Earth. I explained yesterday how it is. It's no control inside. It's the fields which they decide. The fields and plasma condition in the inner core, which then that dictates the speed of the outside core. So it means any change in the speed of rotation of the total core, which is connected to the motor, is not dictated by any forces outside the internal magnetic field, plasmatic magnetic field of the loose core inside, which is literally hanging inside. Is not connected to the outer core. It is built deliberately to be suspended. It's suspended inside. So the only thing which can affect is the speed of rotation or its magnetic field, plasmatic magnetic field can affect the speed of the rotation of the other core, which is on the motor power, electric power, is through creation of plasmatic magnetic field. So
And
last night,
still able to run a vacuum and gases into the inner core as well, or
yes, it's totally independent.
I
Everything
see.
is independent.
But just no
We have,
motor on it.
yes, all the chambers are individually vacuumed, and all the chambers are individually, what do you call it, controlled through the special way we set the pipe out.
Right.
We spent at least 3-4 hours with Marco and John and others 3-4 weeks ago, laying out the way we are going to set up the feeding channels. So we sat, we discussed it, we put it together, we changed it, we put it back again. When we got the parts, we put it back together. And the combination we found on all the plates on the panels is a collective decision, and it seems to be the right one, and we find it easy to work with. It's the logical way. And I think I'll give it to Jorge till Arman arrives, because this was the Arman's baby, and he's not here to explain his emotions when he saw what happened with the reactor. Maybe, no, you have to go and call him to come. Yeah, so Jorge, as an observer of their system, maybe can explain to you what happened.
We need to start the live stream here. Would it be a good idea to do that now? We haven't started it yet.
Okay, but I should have done. I talked for myself then all this time.
Sorry, I thought
Has it
that
recorded on the YouTube?
I thought you knew you wanted 5 minutes, so we waited there, and then I haven't started it yet.
Yeah. Okay, start.
Let me get.
Yeah, Mr. Keshe, I
Sorry
do have
about
it
that.
recorded, so
Right.
that will be in the YouTube for sure.
We always
Yeah,
get
it's
recorded one way or another.
Okay, no problem. So go on the live stream.
Okay, yeah. Let me get the.
I got Jorge started. He started walking out. It's the first time I see him walking out. So let him come and explain. I think he's calling Arman. Yeah, or we can ask Ivan to explain to you because he was there as well. What we saw. Go ahead. Tell me when you started the live stream.
Okay, here we are ready to begin, and this is a special Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We won't call it number 8, we'll call it the Special Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And we're not quite sure what we're in for tonight, but you can bet it will be something exciting for those who are interested in this kind of thing. It should be everybody on planet Earth when you think about it. And so we've got the knowledge seekers from the Spaceship Institute, including Mr. Keshe and that. And let's get over to them and see what's going on there. Okay, over to you. Who would like to begin there?
Okay, it's me. First of all, thank you very much for being available today, which is a holiday. But in next few hours or so, you will understand the purpose of this talk. This talk is not so much about the technology development, but we just explained something which happened last night since we talked yesterday in the workshop. It's been recorded on YouTube, but now explain for the people on the live stream. We have started the loading sequence of the reactors for the space technology. The core, what we call core B, core A belongs to John. He's building it. His reactor core showed some sign of failure after the first trials on Wednesday night because his ceramic has cracks. The gases seep through the crack through this porous material of the ceramic. So reactor A is on a standby till John returns from Belgium. He says he's going to build a new one. Reactor B belongs to and has been put together. I have to mention that all the reactors has been helped in one way or another by all of us. But the responsibility and the way it's been finally put together and initially put together lays with individuals. So certain people are responsible for certain works. Reactor B is the Iranian double core internally hanging central core, which is loose, is suspended in the middle of the outer core with no motor connection except gas feed. Is controlled by Armin and Marek, and we all poking our nose in it to see what happens with it. Core number C belongs, it's the Iranian original gravitational system, which as a team we'll try to, but I stay in charge of it because I know it very well. No, reactor C is the energy power supply system with 3 cores. I do apologize. This is the core built in Belgium, assembled in Italy in different ways and repaired over 6 months. This hasn't come into operation yet. We're going to use it once we have the 3 base cores running. Then that's the mother core which comes into operation. Reactor D is the Iranian gravitational system, half moon, 2 cores, 3 storage capacity underneath for gases. This reactor has performed before. If you have seen pictures of like a 7 kilogram down to 6 kilogram, or you've seen the 9 kilogram to 8 and something kilogram about 3, 4, 5 years ago, these scale measurements are with this reactor when it was operated in Belgium. We have a reactor which is Marco. He's still in the process of putting it together. It should be ready hopefully today. We have a reactor which belongs to Ivan. It's been tested, it's vacuum tight, but somehow we can't get the engine running. Something happens in the eddy current within the system or the winding. And the last one belongs to Jorge and Yukako. And that should be ready hopefully today. So today, by the end of the day, we should have about 6 reactors running. The order we started was John's system is out of way, so first reactor operational is Marek and Armand's. We loaded the system with gases for the first time yesterday in the evening, and immediately within minutes or within an hour or so, we start seeing reaction of the plasma, and then we loaded up the D unit, which is the Iranian gravitational system, 2 running simultaneously. We saw certain results because they were on the floor. We saw certain effects that we made a decision to move all the reactors onto the star formation panel, which means we are ready to take off if it happens. As we go further, we explain it further. Arman is not here to explain what was happening. I think we give it to Ivan or Jorge to explain, because they were around the table when reactor B came into operation and reached the plasma condition in a very, very beautiful way. I'll give the call to Jorge.
Hello, good morning to all. What I'm
Good
going
morning.
to tell that we have the first flight condition, but there was no reactor. Was Armin who was flying. I need to peek in the air because he was so happy that he need to stay in the ground. What I observed of the reactor was a little bit increase of the weight during 2 hours, maybe. How much are? Do you remember exactly? 80 grams or something like this, and we can observe some vibration in. Hmm? Yeah. Okay. The weight is not of the reactor that we are running. It's in the middle because they are all connected to a plate. So it's not so easy to measure each one how it's affecting to all now, because they are not working together. But it's only the first sight we have about the symptoms, and we also see like changing in the speed of rotation randomly. We can say I don't know how to explain it now, but suddenly the speed are increasing or decreasing. That's we saw, and we can have the opportunity to stay in dark conditions. It was amazing that the lights on the top of the lab were sparkling. The plasma inside is reacting to the working of the reactors, so we can see strange things like the condition when the ghost appears. And we have also interference with the radio receiver. It goes down maybe for 20-30 minutes, and it changed the frequency, so we hear another radio station different, maybe in other language like Arab or something. We don't know. So at the end, we can hear again. So we are still in progress to understand what is happening. For me, it's not easy from this point to understand, because we only see movements, and from this point trying to understand. Armin is here. In 5 minutes is in the table. So that's why I saw yesterday.
So I do have a question, Jorge.
Yeah.
About that. Sorry. The speed of rotation difference, was that on the inner free core or the outer core of
In the outer
reactor?
core, we only see the outer core. We can measure only the outer core with a laser. So I don't think this was very accurate measure, because it makes something strange. But you can see the difference. Visually, you can observe that the speed is changing quickly. So it's like slowing and suddenly accelerating. That's what I can tell.
And was it a smooth acceleration or a hard acceleration?
Sorry, I don't know. It's a smooth acceleration.
Smooth, okay, yeah.
It's not constant, the speed. It's between 250 and between 250 and 420 maybe. Yeah, and the current is constant at 1.6 and 3 volts is the the current is always keep constant. So we don't use the current to produce more speed. We are testing in the same condition all the time, and the volts is slightly changing, only maybe 0.02 or something like this.
So was it dragging the motor along when it tried to speed up?
Sorry, Marco is going to speak.
Okay, maybe when we started this reactor, we set up voltage, and it was we were observing certain current, and after that current went down a little bit, and it was stabilized, and then speed of rotations go up, and current and voltage stay stable, and it was then several times changing, go down and up, and without any changing of power supply like voltage or current. And we have opportunity to observe magnetic fields. We have detector which measures magnetic fields in all three directions, X, Y, Z, and we can observe also changes in strength of magnetic fields in each of directions, and it's very interesting how this strength magnetic fields is changing, because we have only two operating reactors. There is 120 degrees between them, and we can observe that it's some kind of suction of magnetic fields from the part that these operating reactors are positioned in, and it's very nice feeling that something is that something is happening without changing parameters of the motor, without changing of the voltage and current, and so plasma takes on its own its position on itself, and
well, sorry,
it dictates the rotate. Sorry.
I was just going to say, if you're measuring a quote unquote suction of the magnetic field, a magnetic field would be inside of a motor. So the only way it can speed up without dragging is to decrease the magnetic field inside that motor.
This is done by the plasma.
Am I correct in that?
It's the plasmatic field.
Actually, plasmatic fields are interacting, and when we were feeding hydrogen in, we put in by stages. Let's say first we put two measures, then we increase for, I don't know exactly, maybe 7 or 8 more times, 8 measures of hydrogen. And every time when we put more hydrogen in, we observe dropping of the current. Voltage stayed the same on the meter, on the motor, and but speed of rotation didn't change. So plasma takes on its own. It's a plasmatic fields interaction. There is no change in the motor fields. So there is interaction of fields, of plasmatic fields with I don't know how to say, with motor fields, but yeah, actually motor doesn't change. So also Jorge said that we observed how radio, we lost the radio station. We just get noise, and then suddenly we got another radio station in Arabic language. And it was very interesting observation also when we put Ivan reactor into the operation table. Into the plate. But when we removed the Ivan reactor, even though it was not working reactor, when we removed, suddenly condition changed. Actually, it was only vacuum inside the reactor. It's nano-coated reactor, but when we just move it, the condition changed, the radio frequency changed, the speed changed, and yeah, it's just changing condition. No? Okay, maybe also Armin can tell something. Now he's here, so I'll pass the microphone to Armin.
We'll make sure he gets his coffee first.
I have it. I can't without it. Hello?
Morning, Armin.
Hi, Armin.
No, I brought it from home.
Yeah.
Morning. How are you guys? Hello?
Hi, Armin.
Hello,
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Still alive.
Still alive? Oh, Ludmil, come on. You should see yesterday what life is about. You remember, Rick, Rick, if you remember, first two workshops what we have with the guys, and we were arguing about how simple this technology will be.
Yes.
And truly it is what we said, and it's hydrogen. This is the start. And clearly we saw yesterday, what interaction can do, magnetic and gravitational fields. You change a little parameter, it's totally changed. And you just need little amount of hydrogen to make that change. It's all magnetic or gravitational. We have to understand that. Without those fields, nothing will exist. And if you know how to do the combination of, gases, you can do miracles, actually. And it's such an excitement day. Yesterday I couldn't sleep until, I don't know, 4 o'clock. I was pacing in the house, up, down, up, down.
That's great, Armin.
So, we're gonna show you a lot of videos. I took pictures, videos. Yesterday was like wow day. It's 17th of April. Yeah. You don't know the date? You lost your account. Oh my God. Anyway, what I want to say, this is a really great moment. What happened? Oh, I thought you already explained.
Well, we explained from our point of view, said your experience.
What can I say? It's very simple. You know, if you look at it, you know, the combination, it's 4 reactors, 1 in the middle, 3 on the side. Yeah, 3 on the side actually. And you just it's different reactors actually. One is a free rotating core, which me and Marek, you know, assemble it, and in the middle reactor, we already know it's been shown in several times. Mr. Keshe showed it. It's a 3-core reactor, which is in the middle, and Iranian reactor, which is sitting on your right side, and one reactor that we are waiting, or it's going to be Ivan's, or I don't know, Marco is keep assembling it, you know, keep, yeah, huh, Jorge? Yeah, he's doing great job actually with his piano fingers. You know, from this moment on, we're gonna, I think, go live, and every test what we do, you can see it, and I don't know, you can say it's very simple for me. You know, what's gonna happen after this? You know, we will do more tests and show you guys. That's all.
That's
If you have any questions, I will answer it.
That's really good news. I appreciate that, Armin. I think people are going to really like to be able to watch on the, you're talking about on the Spaceship Institute live stream channel, I presume, primarily. And we'll also be probably doing some broadcasts on the live stream that we're currently also broadcasting on as well. So, but folks should know about the Spaceship Institute live stream. Maybe we can put the link in the live stream channel for the Spaceship Institute live stream, so people know where to go from that one.
Even we sometimes, you know, it's Italy, you know, internet is acting crazy in here. So even we don't have an internet, we are taking videos, and I can download it from my home and send it to you guys. So don't worry, the information will be shared in a minute. Yeah, we just, you know, actually our reactor, me and Mark, yeah, strange. Yeah, I felt the magnetic field actually when me and Marco were standing near the, you know, and it's really different feeling, and I don't know, I felt, and it's a strange feeling for a moment, but it's, you know, it's beautiful. Yeah, tickle factor. It comes and tickles you, you know. And our old tensions are so good yesterday, so everything worked. Now we're making for Marco to finish up. I'm pulling my hair already, you know, seeing this guy going around and keep putting that, you know, I said, come on, you know, finish up. Let's move. Anyway, you know, a little change, and you have to just feed your core very, you know, little amount of hydrogen. And outer core, we didn't feed anything, only inner core, because we are creating gravity actually. So pull. So if the middle reactor is going to be operational, we will see the connection, all 4 reactors with each other. Interaction. And guys, it is I don't know, I cannot hold my excitement. I wish all of you been here, you know, to see this. Any questions?
Yeah, we have a question here. Just a second, let me get the live stream up. We have a question here from Ben, who's attending at our location right now.
Hi, Armin, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you electrosensitive? Do cell phone signals and Wi-Fi signals and radio signals bother you and being near power stations? Does that give you
Bothering?
Does that give you a slight headache in the direction that you're... Are you electrosensitive? Do you know what that means?
Oh, I didn't get the
You said you
question. I'm sorry. I have. Uh-huh. Affect me? No, I don't think so. I affect them.
He gets headache only from whiskey.
No, why?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a fun time.
Oh. 1 minute, I will pass it to.
Good morning, this is Ivan.
Good morning. Hi, Ivan.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, my reactor yesterday, as we were testing it I got it finally, completed, but then it was giving us a lot of headaches to reach air tightness or vacuum tightness rather. And so we had to apply silicone all over it, and when finally it seemed to be ready, and we put it on the platform and we vacuumed it, then we came to the conclusion that the motor was no longer running. And this had happened to Mr. Keshe's Iranian reactor as well, and so Mr. Keshe said this is normal, but it turned out that we could not get the motor running later on also, so I'll have to look at it today. I think that there's nothing wrong with the motor, but I fear that something somewhere is touching something, and so since the motor is very weak compared to the big disk inside, well, rather big disk that it has to activate. If something is touching somewhere, obviously it's not running. If that
Was
is
that
the case,
was that just under a vacuum, or was that just under atmospheric as well? It would not run.
Yeah, well, there are two reactors which have the motor is in the vacuum as well. This is the Iranian reactor, Mr. Keshe's reactor, and mine. The motor is in the lower compartment,
Right.
sitting in the vacuum.
So if it's in a vacuum, often it'll basically short out in the vacuum because the spark can easily arc and just cause a discharge rather than causing the magnetic fields to work right for the motor.
So that may be the. So what I'll do now is
that's what we
to
ran
release.
into.
Sorry.
Well. We ran into that as well with trying to get a little plasma voltage supply that was inside the vacuum to work. It just stopped working at a certain vacuum condition and died essentially, and we couldn't figure that out for a while until we found out that it was shorting internally because of the vacuum allows the spark to happen much easier and short itself out.
Now, Mr. Keshe says that, and that's what we witnessed with his reactor, because his motor would also not run in the vacuum. But then as soon as this minimal amount of hydrogen was added, it started to operate normally, but not so with mine. So I think I'll have to take a look at it, to completely release the vacuum, bring it back to atmospheric conditions and see if the motor is still running. Still not running. Okay, well, I'll have to look at it today.
Guy just had an idea here that may explain it. Maybe you can tell us whether it's true or not. You want to go ahead there, Guy?
I was just thinking about brushes. Could it be like the brushes inside the motor interfere somehow?
Maybe one motor has brushes and the other is a brushless.
They're both the same.
Mr. Keshe says they're both the same. I think they are with brushes.
Okay,
I didn't open the motor, but it's a straightforward DC motor. If you revert the polarity, it reverses its action. I think it's a normal DC motor with brushes.
Right. Usually, if it has 2 leads to the motor, it would be just a DC brushless. But if it's brushed, sorry. But if it's brushless, usually there's 3 leads.
Yeah. Then it would need a capacitor. There are only 2 leads.
Right.
Okay, that's so wish me good luck for today to get it back into operation. I'll pass the microphone
Good
to
luck
Marek.
today, and I can mention 2 things here. One of them is when you're under vacuum, there is no temperature dissipation. So you can overheat pretty easy the motor. That's one thing. And going back in the years, when we were insulating transformers, just paint your reactor with latex. That is going to insulate the air leaks.
Okay. Spray it with latex.
Spray it or just paint it. At the time, we were just dropping the transformers into a bucket of latex, pull it in 5-10 minutes, and everything is perfectly isolated. So just an idea.
Yeah, obviously that's more or less what we have been doing it, because when we applied this siliconized latex on the outside, so that's but we don't have a bucket of it, but the end result is nearly the same. Okay, bye.
Hello, Marek. They want me to explain more about Iranian reactor, the one which is half sphere, and it has vacuum. At the vacuum is also motor running, so it has also its own water cooling system with water pump, because it's heating quite a lot, so it needs the cooling. So that's one remark. And yesterday I had Czech workshop, and after some time Jorge came and told me I should run to lab to see what's going on. I told people I have to cut it. I have to run. They didn't understand. Okay, and I ran to the lab and I saw the reactors already operating, rotating, and as they told you, there were changes in the spherical Iranian reactor, which changed its rotation speed. I have measured it during some period of time, and it was oscillating these rotations, so it went up, changing, let's say, from, I don't know exactly now from head, but from 380 to 400, and then it came back and then again up. This period was about 1 to 2 minutes, so it was oscillating as I could see and measure. What's this? Yes, and we are also measuring, as you have heard, magnetic field with Metrolab weak field detector, and we could see the changes of the magnetic field. It was not so big, these changes, but it also there was also some drop in the magnetic induction vector, and also the change of this vector direction. Actually, we have seen that this vector is oriented out of the running reactors. So, like something like magnetosphere is being created around these reactors, and as they have told you, we have seen other things happening with the radio and lights. So some interactions are already ongoing, and we have to do more observations and continue the loading.
Did you have to shut them off, or did they continue running after you guys were done?
They are running still overnight. We haven't seen them today morning, but okay. So somebody saw them. So they were greeted. So I think they feel very, very well.
That's good.
It's back to me again. Okay, let me explain something. Sometime it'll be embarrassment what happened last night, but it's as we don't have a live, what do you call it, view on the lab at the moment because of the technical problems. If you were alive with us when Ivan left, we decided to, as they said, remove his core from the table or from the plate. And when we brought it on the plate, we thought we'll see what's wrong with it, because we are very desperate to bring the 4th reactor into operation. And while we brought it on, then the whole lot went into the emergency room operation. It was fantastic. We had doctors pulling the system apart. We had surgeons cleaning up, nerve system to be connected. We had one holding the reactor like a baby and pampering it. But at the end, after about 20 minutes emergency, we managed to put the reactor back together and it's still alive. It was a very nice, what do you call it, a view for somebody from outside. How about 5 people working and holding the reactor together and putting it together. This is a collective job, as we do not look at whose reactor it is. What we do as a team, we carry on with the same thing. And it is very strange how soon, it's not strange, because as I said, now for the first time people here have received the same feeling as I have, that within matter of very short time you see your reactors reacting to the loading sequence. The single reactor cores usually don't react so easily, but because we are putting combination, we are creating a condition of forcing the reactors to interact. And we see when we do how one condition affects the other one. So this is part of the process, and this is part of what we'll be reporting, I presume on a weekly basis or sometime on a daily basis. So Marco is trying to show me something. He's received something from somebody, a specialist. Let him explain to you, because to him is important. Can you explain?
Actually, I've got an email where one of the knowledge seeker from my country sent me electronic pictures of nanomaterial which were made with electron microscope. And well, we can observe, I don't know if I can post it. Well, we can observe the structure of nanomaterial. Yeah, I'm not used to. This first time that I'm looking to the picture of from the electron microscope.
It's 100 nanometer time.
Yeah, maybe Marek can explain a little bit more. There are spaces. There's material and spaces, and
what material? Which material is this?
nano coated.
Does it have a pattern?
The gap is about 100 nanometers. It's like a coral reef, as they said it.
Yeah.
It's like ice, or what do you call it? Like snowflakes, but closed snowflakes with a lot of cavities. No orientation. There is certain type of orientation. They orientate in each layer in the same direction, as far as I can see. Near enough layers all end up in the same direction at a gap, and it's a very strange structure.
It's possible to have like a screen share so we can see.
Marco has to post it on his.
Well, we've got this email recently, right now, so we have to look at these pictures more carefully. Maybe let's continue with workshop and.
Sure. We'll post this later.
Yes.
I think something which is coming up in a very strong way. Close your website, please. Close your program, your email. What is merging now is that scientists around the world, or enthusiasts around the world, are collectively working towards one target. We see everybody is using their own speciality to explain part of the technology, and the technology is. I have received a short memo note late last night, and indication from the note, again, the way it has been done shows exactly what we were expecting. The material is a CO2 GaNs state, but it shows itself, as they say. We will release more data as we receive it. We know that there are different scientists around the world who are putting the whole thing together in their own way, and the Institute will stay in support, and we'll see what we can do. As I keep on saying, no knowledge has ever been shared so fast, so immediate, within a matter of hours from the lab into the world population. And we know the whole following goes in different ways. People are participating as they think or they want to know. The reason I asked for this meeting today is a special day in Christianity, in the world of Christianity, and it's a significant day. And I chose this day a long time ago, and things came to be together for this today. The reason for the presentation of today or discussion of today has nothing to do with the work of the foundation. It has to do with the way I have presented the technology over past 40 years or 30 years, and the reason it's been presented this way. We explained this a long time ago in different ways, through peace treaty, through peace conferences, through peace world message, through the messengers of God as a scientist. We explained this a few lectures ago about the Messiah and the rest. So today is the day to put a lot of things in order, why and how and where we are and why the foundation is this situation.
because there is a very high chances of me not being here very soon. We see it, and our security people are informing us closer and closer. So I would like to put a lot of things in order before anything happens and the way the structure has come. The the whole process with me, as a lot of you know, started in early 70s and early 60s. And I knew my position from childhood, what I have to do, and it was very clear to me what has been as part of my life. I was born in an environment that the radiation to be part of my life, and it's still part of my life as of today, from the day I was born, through my father. Secondly, through becoming a nuclear engineer, I knew why I came a nuclear engineer. I knew what the destiny was to do. In pursuing the target of the purpose for why you are born, I knew I had to have a say in what is happening and understand it, not as an engineer, but as a man, and the life path pulled me in that direction to teach me about the humanity. I was born to learn about the man and the man failures and the man reasons for so much mayhem. But at the same time, on the other hand, it's easy to talk, but you have to be part of the whole system to understand where the failures are, that you can do something with it. With the passage of some 30, 40 years, I learned about the weaknesses of the man. I learned about how man has been abused and how these abuses can be stopped, and how people have abused each other through the process of wealth, through the process of need, through process of disguise, and through every other channels. We have seen deception as the leaders of the world. We have seen deceptions in the cloth and the rope of the religion. We've seen every aspect, from the man on the street, how has got into the habit of cheating, lying, stealing, and at the same time killing. And always went back on the process that the whole thing has to come to a position of understanding how people can have everything, that there is no need. And there has been a passage in this process. I see and I can understand every reason why I had to go through this process. I have ate with the kings, I have ate with the presidents, I've sat with the poorest man who had nothing to eat on the floor in different parts of the world. I have traveled more than 60, 65 nations, and I've dealt with over 120 nations on this planet during my working life. I've come to understand one thing. All men live through greed, and all men live through one thing which they don't know, and is part of the structure of the DNA and their RNA. To kill, to destroy, to achieve, to have. Does not matter what we do. A king kills a child for his own sexual behavior. A priest abuses a child through the name of God in a church. The same goes with every other religion. It's not in one religion or the other. It's the same, it doesn't matter what nation or nationality these leaders are. We've seen them, they shout, they kill, and they howl when they're at the position of the seat of the power. And then they hide in a hole, rat holes, to hide to save their own meager lives. And we've seen them in the past few years in different parts of the world. But at the end it comes to one thing. Why do we need to kill to possess? And why do we need to destroy to have? A lot of people didn't understand why we set up the World Peace Treaty, and then why we set up the process of teaching so rapidly the way I have done. A lot of you, we know hundreds of thousands of people in their heart and in their paper in their house downloaded the World Peace Treaty and they signed to it. And they're trying to live with it, or they forgot what they signed in. I kept the technology very close
for the time when it's ready. And as you know, we gave the technology freely to the governments. The scientific organizations around the world understood what this change is, but the governments blocked the process because of their power and what it could have brought because of the birthplace. I'm going to ask Marek to download a piece of paper, which I've given it to him. It's been sent to me by NASA. Can you upload that, please? If you read, this paper is signed by the Propulsion Systems Branch Chief, is Mr. Catherine Henkel. It's 27th of September 2012. And I read to you one paragraph. You can read the rest of it. These are the scientists in NASA who studied everything we do, and they understand where we are, how far correct we are. But the government needs to keep us silent. When you say we are not evaluated, this is from George C. Marshall Space Flight Center, September 27, 2012. Paragraph, you read it yourselves. We would be honored to have you come and present your propulsion theories and bring the demonstration units to show us your technology in operation in a series of meetings between the 7th of October and 11th of October. We extend this invitation to you to come as our special invited guest. So you understand, people at the highest level have understood what we do in the scientific world. But unfortunately, the world leaders, because of their political strength, are silencing the science, the Keshe Foundation, because scientists at NASA level are honored to have the technology to be working and how we are working, and there is a need for collaboration and not separation. One of the reasons which I pushed ahead with the teaching and the knowledge seekers in the past few months, and now we achieved it with having the knowledge seekers here, it was my embarrassment and shame and in so many ways unbelief in what one of our supporters in the United States delivered to the White House as a peace message and a peace treaty world message. What put me to shame, it was my own, what you call, misguided thoughts that world leaders understand what this is about. What I received in response in a private letter from the White House put me to one thought. Your Excellency President Obama, I respect your letter of 24th of July. I sent you the peace message. You sent me a letter, nothing but about killing and wars and what you have to do to kill and to protect your nation through wars and armies. I would like if you can release that letter from President Obama. It reads, it's addressed to Mehran Tawakkoli Keshe. It's on the White House private letter, not a header letter, with no references, which means this is private between the President, but this is shame for me in reading it. It says at the top, Dear Mehran, and it's signed by Barack Obama. The people who received this letter on my behalf in the United States, they wanted me to react immediately because this was not the purpose of the World Peace Treaty to justify killing and support of nations. We looked for justifying how we can change armies of countries into the armies of peace and support. This letter explains to me sacrifices of man for nothing. Why a leader of the most strongest nation in the world has to justify killing and to support national security? What has puzzled me is US alone in past 10, 15 years has spent over nearly $2 trillion in Iraq and Afghanistan, and still to follow. In what? In supporting mainly armies and manufacturing tools of killing, in creating employment and wealth for who? If the American government would have given something, to my calculation, $9 million to each citizen in America, this would have created more wealth and job in that nation than all the killings which is done and still carrying on under different names and borders. My message to world leaders is very simple. And my message to the soldiers who carry arms to kill is very simple. The bullets you carry have all the ingredients for you and your family to live a very rich, healthy life. The powder inside is the fuel for your currents, for your food. And the cover of a bullet, open it up and use it for its nanotechnology and nanomaterial to feed your family. We have seen enough war. We have seen enough killing. And we have seen enough aggression. I've been to Africa. I've run business in Africa where a glass of water, clean water, costs a lot of money. But European nations throw millions of tons of food into ocean keep prices. This has to come to an end, and with the technology we delivered, we have brought it to an end. This is the reason why a nation like Belgium issues warrants for my arrest and warrants for me and my wife to appear on the kangaroo court allegations and declarations for fraud and for practicing medicine. First of all, we don't practice medicine. Can you post both warrants with the Belgian government, please? Both of them, yes. So, why? How can I be doing these things when I gave my whole knowledge freely to the human race? People pay for development, and the Keshe Foundation is the only organization in the world who has, as part of his research and development, refunds anybody who enters his research and they are not happy with. There is no organization in the world which refunds its own volunteers, which they sign into and they pay for, back to them. Up to today, we have refunded anybody who's asked for a refund according to what they wanted, except 4 cases due to the support of the foundation website. We had to delay payment and keep supports for any further, which we have spent hundreds of thousands of euros in past 12 months to stop the attacks by the Belgian government through IMAC, through Chinese servers. We can prove the whole package. So they attack us to bring us down, we protect ourselves, and then they say why you cannot pay, because it costs hundreds of thousands to do. And then the process is very simple. We will not attend the police interview in Belgium on the 22nd. And we ask for protection for me and my family, not only from the Italian government, but through United Nations. This will stand. We have launched it, and we stay put in our place. We do not escape. We do not hide. We do not run. From today, the gates of the Keshe Foundation is open to anybody who likes to come and stay with us to make sure the crook and pedophiles and thieves of leaders of this world cannot stay and do what they've done up to now. They have put man against man to kill each other for them to benefit for a few hours and days they are alive on this planet. We heard in the news that His Eminence, the Pope, has said he's ready to meet aliens. Your Eminence, the system for you to meet the aliens is getting developed less than 400 kilometers, 500 kilometers from your residence in Italy. Come and have a look. We invite you to our center. The same goes for the world leaders. We invite you to come and see the change people will bring, not us. Covering themselves on the name of the fraud or practicing, we do not practice health, we practice environmental development. I create a copy of the planet Earth. If planet Earth gives you vitamins and minerals, and Earth is criminal, so am I. This is what you did not understand about the health systems we make. The health system we make is not medical, but is a copy of the geological structure of the Earth, the way they have explained to you even in this workshop today. A small amount of gases which is not even visible can make changes in the structure, the way, for example, you go to the fountains in different parts of the world and you drink the water to change the sight or to change cancer. Now that we told you the essence of living, this is how these systems are made. The patterns are out, anybody can do. In fact, what has puzzled me is that the world leaders, as you know, like President Obama through their ambassadors, Brazilian government, the governments in East Asia, all have asked and they send delegations to us to collect the key or for us to deliver to their embassies. So how come the knowledge which is given as a free and is getting studied and worked by different nations now has become a criminal offense in Belgium? This is deliberate act to silence a scientist. But I have a message for all of you. Be it Your Eminence the Pope, be it His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. Can you scan and post this on the site, please? You will read 3 pages. I do not read it for you. But in these 3 pages, even they have a wrong English spelling might be because it makes you happy to find a fault. This is the language of the Creator. The reason we are here today. The reason why the Keshe Foundation and the name of the Keshe technology has been put on the map. Very simple. I am ashamed of my own creation. If you understand what that means. As a human being, I had to live amongst you in your body. To be ashamed of my own creation. I had to live your lives to know how greedy you are, how thieves you are, and how you kill so easily. And this has to stop from today. I have put it in writing. The ones who want to call it, they call it. The ones who are the world leaders read it. This will stay with this paper will stay, and in time will be understood. The way I have shown you how you make food out of fresh air, I have shown and I explained to the nuclear scientists in past 2 weeks how gold was easily made from in the environment of the Earth. Life has no value but to serve. The Keshe Foundation headquarters in Italy is open to public. You knock on our door in the Sassano. Everybody knows more or less where Keshe Foundation is. They know who we are.
Lake Lagarda, localité San Lorenzo. This is home of knowledge and faith, but peaceful faith. You can walk in, see everything, bring your system, and ask and teach us, and we teach you. There is no limit into what we teach. My call goes to the people and the crooks who sit in the seat of government. I had to eat with you in different nations to understand how you defraud your people. I had to pray in your houses of worships in different nations to understand how you structured and abused the name of God to benefit a few. Now it's in my writing. Can you post that paper, please? It's posted. This is my wish and my way of doing things. And I'm not ashamed or afraid of any people, any world leader or any religious leader who tries to attack me. I have created you, and at my wish, I can end your life. You wished, and for years you asked for Messiah. Here I am, standing in front of you. I'm ashamed of my own creation, the human race. And I've said that for years to my family and my wife. But I had to experience how you created things from nothing, claim to possess everything. The purpose of today was very simple. You wanted to see Messiah and you prayed for it for thousands of years to change not only your beliefs but take you to heaven. We have offered you the whole lot. And the panel of knowledge seekers on this table who are here today were chosen to be here for their deeds and their acts and the deed and acts of their forefathers. My call goes to Vatican, to His Eminence the Pope. Meet us, we discuss everything in detail, and if I'm wrong, I'm prepared to stand for my deeds. But the cleaning has to come from the house. Put olive branches in the place of the swords of the guards of the Swiss Guard and the armies which you carry. And do the same with the followers of Christ around the world today and this week and next week and then on, that the arms has to be replaced with roses and with olive branches, and the metals of the guns and the nuclear weapons has to be changed for producing homes, food, the way we have shown, and shelter for the people who don't have. The same my call goes to His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei. As the Islamic religious leader, you have had the foresight to be correct and bring this knowledge through your protection to its flourishing. And a lot of people ask me why I keep on talking about 3 exiles. I've been imprisoned, I've been exiled, I've been threatened to be killed for my knowledge and nothing else.
In my business world, when I used to be a millionaire, every door was open to me and the best hotels. Since I opened my hand and what I am, and most of the secret services knew of this declaration of today for a long time, and that's why they set up to avoid today's discussion and this disclosure. They did not expect it to be disclosed today, but today is an important day in the world calendar with the death of Christ. And we chose the day as the creators, as the Son has to be linked to the Father. I have no problem with putting everything with you. You are Christians, you are the Pope. You are Muslims, you follow different sects of Shia or Sunni. You don't need to change your faith. You don't need to change the way you believe. The only thing you have to change is the way you think about killing, wars, and you are now feeding it through these stupid games to the children of the future. The child from age of 2 or 3 knows nothing but killing and running and shooting. So you are ingraining this behavior in the future of this race, and this has to stop. Something you did not realize. I told you yesterday that today we will disclose something, and you heard it and you didn't understand it. They told you we can interfere with the radio frequencies. Same time, we can interfere with any games which is made, which has got aggression and wars in it. At the same time, the same way as with the American plane was captured through the same technology which you seen today, as they explained to you, they could see the light flashing on the roof, on the ceiling of the lab, which is about 4 meters, 5 meters away from the reactor. We can interfere with any weapon technology across the world. But this will not be, because if we force you, then you fight to get it. We invite you to dispose of it yourself. I say it again, I was involved in the peace talks and the whole work of the Northern Ireland Peace Treaty. As I said, the IRA and the Sinn Féin and the rest knew exactly our operation, how peaceful it was and how correct it was. The British government knew how I was personally involved. And I thank them for giving me this opportunity to learn how peace can be done in a very easy way. We asked and we initiated the Iranian peace talk in different ways, and we see the fruit of it today. Wars are no reason, and there is no ground for it. Within weeks, people are seeing what we are doing, all the major military stations and whatever you want to call it, battleships, latest aircraft carriers, the top airplanes, fighters, will not be able to move, because now people have seen it, they have learned it, and they're copying it. They will force you if you do not follow the procedure. You claim that the revolution in the what you call spring uprising was done by the people to change the leaders of the Arab countries. Now the scientists in the West will do the same with the Western leaders who do not follow the procedure of peace. The knowledge is in their hand. They are making the nanomaterials in thousands and hundreds of thousands in different countries. Chinese are teaching my books as part of the university text. We've spoken with their scientists. They are teaching, people are reading. The Arabs have translated it and using it in different ways to protect Syria, the way it's been announced. They have called me as they receive the technology as a Tesla of physics, which has no relevance. And in different parts of the world, people are testing it. So the knowledge is in the hand of man. And from now on, the way we have shown the first reactor, just the first smallest reactor operation yesterday, which was explained by the knowledge seekers, has shown the power of this technology. A very few micrograms of gas can penetrate tens of meters. I ran a test on one of the reactors just to see the Iranian reactor being in operation yesterday. I know its influence. And then the effect of it is still there, but I cannot explain it to my knowledge seekers. In the afternoon, I asked them to walk with me in the garden, and they could see the influence of the fields without them knowing on the, what you call chemtrails, the way it was opened up. It never opens up that way without the effect of magnetic field. So my message is very simple. Read what we have posted today and ask today to send it to as many people as you can, because the message is very clear. For centuries and thousands of years, in different names and religions, you wanted to have everything, to find peace, to find prosperity, to find the day when everybody has everything. In one lab, come in and we show you energy, food, material, motion, and anything else you want to produce to live a comfortable life. There is no need for wars. The reason for this teaching and this progress is very simple. We are opening the doors for this animal and the man in this jungle of the earth to learn the works and the ways of the universe. And as you understand fully, His Eminence the Pope does not go out and say he's ready to meet aliens, because we are not aliens. We are amongst you, and you know this is the time of reunion. The most powerful religious man on earth does not make such a comment few days before we show the reactors. They are fully aware of what we are doing and understand through their advisors the potential of what is to happen. Let me explain to you one thing very clearly. His Eminence the Pope, within minutes after his inauguration, was handed over the peace treaty as a package. We have strong followers at the highest levels, and they were on the floor of the declaration. And it was handed over to Vatican directly. As advisors to the Vatican, they had the right to do so. So, it's not that they don't know, as much as His Eminence the Pope, His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, His Excellency President Obama, the Chinese leader, and the Russian leaders know about the technology. At the same time, they never thought it would come to affect them this way. Now we are here as people to change the course of the humanity and opening of the doors into space, not for man. Read the last paragraphs of the paper we released today. Man is just maturing enough to be able to see beyond the wall, tall enough to be able to just have a glimpse. But to be able to jump over the wall, you have all to give hand, the way we do here in the Institute. We work as one team. We don't ask the time and the place. So I hope I made this message very clear. And please, if you believe in what the Foundation does, and you do, post this across the universe, across this world, because people are waiting for something which they've been barred and blocked to see and to understand. You see the letter from the scientists at the highest space institute. It is an honor to them to have a scientist like me, and to their world, the leaders of their nation, my travel had to be blocked. Now there is no block. Now we invite the scientists from Russia who have the same value for our findings here. This week we had the nuclear scientists at the highest level of the Italian government in our foundation, and they understood the potential of what is to be delivered. The Iranian scientists the same, and did the others. So our knowledge is open and free for every man on this planet, because I cannot steal what is mine, and I cannot take away from what I've created. And I cannot be different from one child to another. The child of Adam went the wrong way. We opened the ways to correct it, and now is the time to join in. Thank you very much. We close this disclosure, and I thank you, Rick, for allowing it to happen and moderating it. And I thank all the Keshe Foundation supporters around the world if they understood what this means. Come to Italy from today or tomorrow. Our doors are open. We have a beautiful big gate and a big heart and a big place to accommodate all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Keshe, that was a very strong, strong statement there in the last bits.
Please
Especially.
send these messages and these documents across the world on every channel you know. Because if we do not do it, it will never be done the way we planned it to be done. It is very hard, but this is the way to be done. We've done this before in a couple of other places, and we always have seen the result. It's the way to be desired to bring peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks. That appears to be the end of today's special Knowledge Seekers Workshop. What can I say? That's it for now. Thanks for everybody.
Please get this message out to anybody that you can, and share the documents as much as you can.
They are already on Facebook, my Facebook page.
Yes, and they're posted in the live stream chat as well on the Keshe Workshop channel.
Yeah, this message will be spread in China also.
Okay, thanks to everybody. We're going to end the live stream.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.